when we give this to our students and we're like, okay, because we'll have.
Now, my wife, I just broke down. I said,
hello, hello, hello. Welcome to the show, Who Are You? It is a special Saturday. We have started special Saturday episodes, and we will be having just quite a bit of special guests on Saturdays, and this is our first Saturday where we are hosting our special guest. She's a high energy self-starter on a mission to help people become greater. She is a radical believer in the power of intelligent, intentional, inspired, individual choices that she calls #iChoice. This belief, paired with her expertise as a human resource leader, led her to launch the Choices Company and inspired her to write her book, All Slap. Between these two endeavors, she has been able to build a reputation for working with highly self-motivated individuals to achieve greatness in every aspect of life. So, allow me to welcome Lori Gentles, the author of the book All Slap and the creator of My Choices Determine My Destiny, to our show, Who Are You? Hi, Lori, how are you?
Hi, Dr. Revik. How are you? Thanks for having
me. I'm fine, thank you. I'm fine, thank you. Nice to meet you, and I'm so glad that you are on our show today.
Me too. Thank you. Glad to be here.
Awesome. So, Lori, and I'm so glad that the technology functioned very well, because I know sometimes the technology can really fail us, but we are glad that, it's a Saturday, especially when we know a lot of people are using technology over the weekend. It can really drain and become so crowded, but I am so grateful that it functioned very well, and I'm so grateful that you're here now. And so, with further ado, please tell our audience who you are.
Great. Well, first of all, thanks for the introduction. I think you shared a lot about who I am. Lori Gentles, an author of the book, Oh Slap, My Choices Determine My Destiny. But even beyond that, I would call myself an inspirational leader and public speaker, a coach, a success mentor. I have a background in human resources, so I'm all about working with people and helping people, as you said, helping great people become even greater, because I do believe that everyone is born extraordinary, and over time, we start to tell ourselves that we're just ordinary people achieving and doing ordinary things, but we really are extraordinary, and I want to remind people of that, and I do that in my book so that they can achieve and accomplish the goals that they really want to achieve and accomplish, but for whatever reason, they just feel stuck.
Awesome. That is so beautiful, because, and especially these times of pandemic, we've seen a lot of people getting stuck because they don't know what else and what next. And I am definitely sure that, behind your book, All Slap, which I've read a little bit of a caption of it, and it is very intriguing. There is a story behind it. So tell us a little bit about your personal story and your journey to where you are now.
Yeah, thanks for that question, because you're right. There is a journey. First of all, let me start with the title of the book. I really love the title, Oh Slap. I think it captures what I'm intending to capture, and how I define slap is that moment of sobering clarity, of awareness, and of excellence. And so what I mean by that is that, we go through life all the time, again, believing certain things. I call it a faulty belief system. We believe things that we cannot do, like I'm not good enough to do X, Y, Z, or I don't have, what it takes to become X, Y, Z. The slap, Oh Slap, is like a proverbial slap to waken you up, to say, wake up. you can do XYZ, or you can become XYZ. So it's that moment, that aha moment, when it's like, okay, I don't want to live a life of regret. I have a lot of dreams and goals that I want to achieve. Okay, maybe I wasn't born with a silver spoon in my mouth, so to speak, but I still have skills and talents, God-given skills and talents that I can use to create my destiny. So the journey behind that, so first of all, the title, and then the journey behind that is that's what happened to me, is I had limiting beliefs about, just the state that I was in, the family that I was born into, the state that I was born into, the resources that were available to me. And it was either, do I accept that and go down one path, or do I, find the inspiration within and say, there is another path. There are other paths. That's why I coined the phrase I choice. There are always multiple choices that you can choose from. And most people choose the path of least resistance, the easiest path, and they go on through life in this linear way, never really fulfilling their true purpose because they've chosen that path, and they're not happy. And so I had to make the choice, the intelligent, the intentional, the inspired, the individual choice to go down a path that maybe others didn't want me to go down. Wasn't popular. People had other ideas about who I should be or what I should become, but I made that choice. And so that's the journey behind the book. And I am sharing my lived experience in the book, my proven and lived experience and tips and techniques of how to make effective choices that align with your goals versus the choices that somebody else wanted you to make.
Awesome. That is so beautiful. And I just love the way you've put it. You are intentional and it's an individual choices. And so many people struggle with making the right choices and understanding, am I truly living my purpose or am I living somebody else's purpose? And I think it's because most of the time people it's kind of, they have a tendency of following and flowing with the flow, and they don't really know how to differentiate between how do I make those choices that I feel comfortable, I feel safe, I don't have that fear that maybe I will fail or not fail. So talk to us how, and I know definitely in the course of the show we will be talking about a little bit, maybe 2 or 3 techniques of how best people can begin to learn how to make those choices. But just as a small intro, like how did you come to that place where you felt, I'm making the right choices for my life, I am following my dream, I'm following my purpose, I am falling into that place where I know this is it, this is where I am supposed to be?
Yeah. So, it comes from within. And so when I talk about I choice, intelligent, intentional, inspired individual choice, well, the inspired piece, I believe that all of us have inside of us the answers to our problems. I just believe that. I believe that they've been drowned out because we're listening too much to what other people are saying or getting advice from people who, are struggling themselves, but they're trying to tell you what to do, and they haven't even achieved it. And so the outside noise is too high and we don't listen to our internal voice. So my technique is to turn up your internal voice that likely has the answers to your issues. And in my book, I talk about, there's a section in my book where I talk about the 6 steps to escaping the mental agony of indecision. And indecision comes when you have all this stimuli coming to you. Your mother's telling you this, your pastor, your friends, your this or that, but you're not listening to that inner voice. So there's techniques where you can sit still and figure out, what is it that my mind, my spirit, my gut is telling me to do? And then I have some techniques on how to test that to see if it's really true, right? Because it takes practice to get to that point. And there is an automatic level of comfort and almost exhaling the ability to exhale and breathe when you make the right decision. So for your audience listening out there, we've all experienced this. Have you ever been in a moment of indecision and then you were stressed out thinking about it for days and weeks and months, and all of a sudden you made a decision and you knew it was the right decision because your shoulders relaxed, you could breathe, you felt comfortable? We want to replicate that experience in every decision that you make.
Wow.
So, if that makes sense, I'm hoping that this is making sense what I'm saying.
Yes, it really makes a lot of sense. And I'm just enjoying, how you're just putting those nitty-gritties for people out there. And it's so well elaborated, because even for, it's not just simple people. There are also, people who are very well established, very well in high positions, but they still struggle with those things. We are going to take a short break. And when we come back, we are going to learn more about OSLAP book, because I believe indeed it is a very, very powerful book for each of one of us to have it on our shelves, where we can go back and revisit and say, what is it about my choices, my thinking, my belief that I can change, that I can get in, kind of a guideline of how I can be able to understand who I am and be able to establish that purpose that I have for my life. So we will be back in a short break. Hello, welcome again to our show, Who Are You? Thank you very much that you are watching with us. We have April Hopkins who is saying, blessings, lady. She's enjoying the show. We have Angela Silico. She's agreeing with everything that you're saying. And we have Janelle, who is also very active, and she actually has, your book where I got the passage from, which we'll be reading as well. And I'm so glad, because it's often many a times where people come in and think, oh, okay, so what is a book going to change my life? Or what is, I can read a book, but, that is somebody else's life, or this is something that, I might not preemptively say that I connect with it. Talk to us, like, for you, which people or books had the most influence on your growth and why?
Yeah, so thank you for that question. And one of the things I will say to something that you said is that this book that I've written is universal, regardless of what level you are at. These are practical tips that I know people struggle with on a daily basis. Yes, I'm using my examples from what I've experienced, but coming from the HR human resources background, I've dealt with thousands and thousands of people who have come to me about their issues and their problems and their unhappiness and their state of life. And some of the reasons for that is because they're making the wrong choices. So I get inspired by a lot of people. My grandmother is one of the persons who has inspired me to move forward and to succeed. But some of the other books and things that I've read, there's some of you may have heard of Robert Kiyosaki. He wrote the book. It's an older book, Rich Dad, Poor Dad. I mean, I get inspired by just that story. So people who have overcome obstacles and barriers through making choices. So that's like, okay, how are these people succeeding and how did they become what they are? These people that I admire in other books. Well, it's because they made choices and they had different voices, but they made the I choice. And so that's just a sample. There's another person that I like to follow. It's a book called Happy Pocket Full of Money. And it really is just about your mindset. And so I would say part of this book and part of my journey was really doing my own, investing in my own retraining of my brain, retraining the way I think, catching myself when I find myself falling toward the negative or in a limiting belief, a belief that limits, that holds you down, that's suppressive and oppressive. And deliberately and intentionally changing that thought through positive I am statements. I am. It took me a long time to write this book because I said, I'm not a writer. And then I started saying, I'm a writer. So it's that kind of thing. You have to actively and intentionally retrain your brain, because over time, over the years, we've all been told things that we can't do. From a child, the number one word that children hear is no, right?
Yes.
Lives, you can't do it. Stay within your lane. And this book is giving you permission to go outside of that and create your own lanes. Like, let's carve out some new lanes for you.
Wow, awesome. And I like the way you've talked about, it is the changing of how you look at things and how you begin to say, I am, because it's about you first, then the rest. Because if you don't experience something in you, you cannot be able to transport this experience to many people. And it is awesome, even just from your experience where you thought you could not write a book, how can you be an author? And then when you began to say, I am a writer, I can write this book, I am an author, and you are able to write this book or slap. And it is also out of a lot of experiences that you've had with yourself, with your surrounding, and with your sphere of influence, which has enabled this book to be a very powerful book. And that, with that, I would ask you, read for us a paragraph that really resonates to your heart, so that we can reconnect with you and the book and begin to get and understand. And many people would really understand the power of this book.
Wow, that's a good one. So let me see. I didn't know I was going to read. I want to read something I am going to read something from when I talked about the 6 steps to escaping mental agony that comes with indecision. Because I think that when people buy the book and they read that, I think that's going to resonate with them a lot. And so there's 6 steps, and I am going to, I don't want to take up all your time. I'm going to read.
No, don't worry.
Okay, I'm going to read step 2. I'm going to read step 2 under of the 6 steps. Step 2 is decide to change. There is no magic to deciding, but there is a process. It is different from trying. It is different from wanting and wishing. You always have a backdoor escape hatch when you try to do something. And most people will use it at the first sign of difficulty, abandoning their goal. They give up or they give in when they don't see immediate results, or just because they've had a bad day. So deciding is not a physical action, it's a spiritual action. You first get into agreement with your spiritual purpose. Understanding your spiritual purpose is simple, but not necessarily easy. If you are unhappy and discontent with your life most of the time, my guess is that you're not operating in your spiritual purpose. Behavioral therapists call this cognitive dissonance. Much of our pain comes from misalignment. When you become aware of this, decisions become less about deciding and more about listening and choosing the path that is most aligned. And then it goes on. So.
Wow. Awesome. That is powerful. It's a process. It's not about, last resort. It's not about your emotion. It's about getting yourself in alignment with your inner self, with your inner spiritual self, so that you're able to understand. And it's not about you giving up. It's about you being consistent. And that is so powerful. Tell us, what would you say is the number one key to success in your business as an author, motivational speaker, as a coach?
That's the number one what?
Your number one key to success as an author, as a motivational speaker, as a coach.
It is, I can say this, it is being yourself. Authenticity. I started out, I've been doing this work for a long time, and many of you on the call or on the show may have heard of the concept of the imposter syndrome. I don't know if you've heard of that, where, you know, kind of fake it till you make it, or you're always thinking, am I really qualified to be giving people advice and be saying these things? Who's to listen to me? For a long time, I tried to present, I stayed within a very small box. You know, I didn't deviate from that box because I wanted people to, and I realized that people weren't really resonating with that, because people resonate with real people.
Exactly.
So when you can be real and you can be vulnerable, and you show that you went through the journey as well, that you're just like them, but this is what you did, because people want to be lifted up, right? They don't want to see a perfect person and say, I can never, you know, yeah, of course she did that because she's perfect or he's perfect or whatever. They were born to do that. No, I'm a regular person just like everybody else with regular issues that we all deal with, but I chose and I'm choosing, and I want to help you choose to go whichever path you want. And so the success, the number one key to my success, I think, in this business is authenticity, being willing to share your story, real talk. This book, as you'll read, it's probably written like not a lot of books that you're going to read. There's a lot of straight talk, direct, almost. It's intended to shock and to sober and to activate you. So it's a dose of tough love, but it is love in this book, because I know that, again, everybody on this call, everybody who picks up this book is great, but they just might need help in moving forward and accomplishing their goals. So
awesome. And what I like, and you know, what I like is what you said. You know, it's something that is awakening you from inside. And you know, we hear a lot of people saying, you know, awakening your consciousness, your inner consciousness, to be who you're meant to be in your purpose. And also in your book, you talk about leadership. What does self-leadership mean to you?
Yeah, so leadership. So I've been in positions in corporate America in roles of leadership. And oftentimes leadership is viewed as, you know, synonymous with the position that you hold or the title that you hold. And I completely obliterate that concept. I think everyone is a leader of something, even if it's just yourself. So this book is focused on self-leadership. I think in order for you to be an effective leader of others, you need to have mastered leading yourself, and that comes from self-awareness. So self-leadership is just kind of what it says is, you know, if you work for an organization and you have a boss, and all of the things that you expect that boss to do for you or to how to support you, I would pose the question, are you doing that same thing for you?
Exactly.
Like, you expect your boss to give you good feedback, promote you, do all of these things, empower you. And my question is, okay, you want somebody else to do that for you, but let me ask you, are you doing that to yourself? Are you giving your own self good feedback? Are you empowering your own self, right? So it's really taking the focus off of something that's external, because when you focus on something that's external, like your boss, like your parents, like your spouse, then you lose control. You're not empowered, you're disempowered, because you're reliant upon them to feed you. And if they don't, or if it doesn't come in the way you want, you're frustrated, you're unhappy, you're disappointed. But if you take that power back and say, I am going to feed myself, I can give myself the most nutrition, the most love that I need first, and then I can be able to receive more effectively what's from the outside. And when the outside gets rocky, it's not gonna destroy me because I'm built up enough on my own. I've invested enough in myself, if that makes sense, hopefully.
Powerful, 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 because it is more, and more encouraging to be in that place of saying, affirming you. I am affirming myself, what I want people to affirm on me, because then I will be able to appreciate that. I will be able to receive it, because then I know how it feels, and I can be able to appreciate that, and that is something that I think it's very powerful for people to learn how to do that. And more, because it shows that you love yourself, and you can be able to love on other people, and you can be able to give to other people what you've experienced inside. And I believe it's very powerful, because that is exactly what you've given people on your book, or SLAP, because considering that you've worked both in the corporate world, and you've experienced a lot of those experiences. You've had people talk to you about different experiences. You've supported them to grow from where they are to where they are today. And I'm very sure a lot of people who are looking and saying, I know Lori Gentles because she was my motivator. She was my mentor. She is the person I look up to, because she is the one who has enabled me to be where I am today. What advice will you give? Probably in, just 5 short words or sentences of advice that you'd give to young girls of any age, looking up to you and saying, I would love to be like Lori Gentles.
That's great. I guess if I were to say kind of a few words, what do you want? So first of all, starting with that question, I remember when I was a young woman looking at someone like me doing training and everything, and what was it about that I liked? And I liked it was the person was an educator, that she was instilling, that she was pouring into people. So don't just look at me and say, I want to be a writer, I want to be in this business. What is it that you want? What is the value? What is that inspired thing inside of you that's saying, I've got to give it to people? So make sure you get clarity around that, and then just start doing it. Like, start doing it. In other words, with your friends, with your teachers, with your whomever, wherever you're at, you can just start being the educator and the teacher by sharing your own examples of what you've done to make intelligent choices and to, achieve your goals, no matter how small they are, even if it's a school project or whatever. What did you do to make sure that that was a success? So that's just on a very practical level. On a higher level, if you really want to get into the speaking business, obviously, you need to assess your own skills. What message do I have to say? Who is my target audience? All of those kind of technical questions. But even before you get there, you need to be inspired to do this work and know that you have a message to deliver to people.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Lori. It has been a pleasure to host you on this show, Who Are You? It's been a pleasure to just hear you speak to us and pour a lot of wisdom to us all, even me, myself. I've learned a lot, and I'm going to take a lot with me. I am already waiting for my book to just hit my post box. I'm very sure it's because we've had very bad weather that our DHL has not been able to supply us everything that we've been ordering. But I know that my book is coming. I was looking forward to show it on this show.
Yes, I was sure. If you don't
but
mind.
I'm so grateful. So to all our viewers who are watching, just put it up again. This is the book. It's called OSLAP, and it is a powerful book that is educative, it is empowering, it is motivating, and every one of us deserve to have this book on our shelves, because we can always wake up when we feel like I am not worthy. You can go and remind yourself that you are. It is about your choices as an individual. I am, we've been told, it's a powerful word that we can all use to ourselves, because we affirm ourselves before anyone else can affirm you. Otherwise, you cannot seek something that you've not yet taught yourself to accept and to receive that and to feel it, because it's always, how do I feel when somebody tells me good work? How do you feel when somebody say great job? Does it give you a more motivation to move into the next level, or does it make you feel comfortable and resign to that place? No, it is about you continuing with the process. It's a process, a daily process, a journey that we take on a daily basis, and we never stop learning. As we have heard, we never stop learning, because learning is a thing of gaining knowledge that we can change it into wisdom. So thank you so much, Lori. Tell us where people can get their books. I know where I got mine, but I want to hear from you, and I want my audience and the rest of the audiences to know where they can get a copy of the book.
Yes, thank you for the opportunity. So you can get a copy of the book, O-SLAP, on Amazon. So you can get it on Amazon and Barnes & Noble. If you're in the United States, you can get it through Barnes & Noble as well. It also comes in ebook, so you can download it and get it on Kindle if you have that. I also want to say that I do, if you want to follow me on Instagram, my handle is @WeAreIChoice, @WeAreIChoice. And I do many learning sessions for free on a regular basis. Dr. Reddick said, we're lifelong learners, we're continuing to learn. So I'm always trying to put out good messages and good learning opportunities for people. So check me out on Instagram. And then if you want more information on my company, you can go to thechoicescompany.com, thechoicescompany.com.
Awesome, awesome. Thank you very much, Lori, for showing up to our show, Who Are You? We are so glad that we've been able to meet you, to know you, and to learn from you. And so thank you so much to all our viewers who have been watching with us. Thank you so much. And we know that you will be blessed by this book. So I urge all of you to go get your copy, because I have mine that is on the way, and I will be reading that. I will be tossing it up and down, because it is always important for us to learn and to learn and to learn. So thank you so much. Cherie Smith says thank you, Lori. So definitely she's a very, very active audience of mine, and I really appreciate you so much, Cherie Smith. And so thank you so much, and have a great weekend. And I know that in the near future, we will be bringing you back, because there's a lot about you and about the things that you're doing out there, how you're motivating people, and, the things that you're offering out there that we will really need to know and to get onto those things, because like we say, it's about empowering motivation. And that is why we host this show, Who Are You? So that we can empower you all, we can motivate you all, so that you know that you're not alone where you are at. Everybody starts from somewhere, and when we can be able to learn from people who have already made it, then we are also encouraged to know that we too, we can aim higher. There is no space to think lower than what we are and what we've been purposed to be. So until next time, we will be having a new guest on Thursday and on Friday. And as well, we will continue with our special Saturday. Next Saturday, we will be having Rhonda. Rhonda will be on our show as our special guest. And so don't forget, keep watching this space and see the things that are coming, because it is all beautiful and it is all meant up for you. So until next time, goodbye.
Thank you.